The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man.
Hiya! Here I am. That's right. Appearing out of nowhere like a ninja. Welcome back to Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook on the Radio Vision Network. And I am pleased right now because I'm talking to my sports guy. He is the host of the MVP show. He is Neil Villapiano. And he joins me on the Skype line right now. Good morning, Neil. And welcome back to Morning Coffee.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, let's jump right into the football game from last night. Jets-Bills, what happened?
Well, the Jets squeaked away with a 37-31 victory over the Buffalo Bills last night. And to be honest, it was a pretty interesting game. A lot of offense. Obviously, Fitzpatrick looked pretty good, completing 24 of his 34 passes for 374 yards and a touchdown. But the one thing I will just admit by watching the game, besides the Jets' defensive line, which has played very well so far this year, the rest of the defense looks suspect. They really struggle, especially Darrelle Revis. Obviously, we've known him as one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but this year he looks a lot more human. He looks like he's struggling a lot this year.
Well, I mean, I think age might be finally catching up with this guy. I mean, how long can we put him out on Revis Island before his age finally starts to catch up with him?
I don't know, honestly. A lot of people want to say that. I guess now we can definitely say that Josh Norman of the Washington Redskins is now the best quarterback in the NFL, but I'm hoping that Darrelle Revis can continue to get better. Obviously, Jets fans want him to return to the Darrelle Revis we all know, and hopefully he can get better, so we have to wait and see.
Well, let me tell you about Josh Norman real quick, because Josh Norman only plays on one side. I don't understand how you could be the best cornerback in the league if you don't flip sides. What Pittsburgh did to Washington is a blueprint on how you play against the Redskins, right? You line up your best receiver on the other side of Norman, and you never have to worry about that coverage.
Right, and I remember I read something that his excuse for that was because he's going to do what the coaches tell him to do.
Yeah, right.
And to me, that's kind of like, that still doesn't make sense. He's the best. If he wants to proclaim himself as the best quarterback in the NFL, he needs to go up against the top receivers. And next week, not this week coming up, but the following week when the Redskins take on the New York Giants, and we obviously have Odell Beckham versus Norman once again. Is he going to be just on Odell Beckham, or is he going to just stay in one spot, or is he going to be on Beckham the whole game? So we don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works. But let's circle back real quick to the Jets-Bills game, because the Jets opened up a pretty decent lead, and then the Bills kind of chipped away at it. The second half of the game was really where I think most of the good action happened. But Eric Decker, how did this kid end up? How does he continue to step up and just make big play after big play? This guy has scored a touchdown in what has it been, like 15 straight games or something like that?
I think it's like that. Honestly, I can't really explain it either. How he's just been probably the most consistent of any Jets player I've seen, and I totally agree that he always seems to be stepping up in key situations. And I think that he has the experience of coming from Denver and playing with a guy like Peyton Manning for a while and understanding him and helping to develop Ryan Fitzpatrick into a much better quarterback. And he's definitely made Fitzpatrick look a lot better in the last year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what's happening is that these teams are keying in on Brandon Marshall so much that it's leaving Decker kind of open a little bit to kind of feast the way he did. He had at least 6 catches yesterday, 120-some yards and a touchdown. I mean, that he's putting up great stat lines every week, and I think that I'm mad because I was going to draft him in my fantasy league, and he went like 2 picks before I was able to grab him.
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, well, and funny because last night I had McCoy, and the guy I was playing against had Decker, so of course I'm losing because McCoy had a very average game.
Yeah, he definitely did. I have McCoy as well on my fantasy team, but I'm actually winning because I had only one player playing, and my
Yeah.
opponent had nobody. So
Yeah, that's what happens on those Thursday night games. So what else?
yeah.
What else you got on the docket today, Neil?
Well, what else we got on the docket today is that college football. Obviously, we're now beginning week 3. Last night we had a very interesting game between the University of Houston, the number 6 ranked Houston Cougars, versus Cincinnati in Cincinnati against the Bearcats. And it was a really competitive game through the first half. It was 10-10 at going into the half. And then in the fourth quarter, the Houston Cougars, led by quarterback Greg Ward Jr., just exploded, scoring 28 points in a row in the fourth quarter and coming away with a blowout victory of 40-16. And Greg Ward Jr. played most of that game with a hurt shoulder, and I give him a lot of credit for sticking with it. And I believe that with that win, it's going to continue to help Houston stay in the hunt for being that one team from the non-Power 5 conferences that can make the college football playoff.
Yeah, their program has been improving for the last few years, but my question is, why would they bury a top 10 matchup on Thursday night up against Thursday Night Football? To me, that makes no sense.
Well, I think it also has to do with the amount of games we have coming up on Saturday. Obviously, you got Stanford versus USC. That's a big game. You have Michigan State versus Notre Dame. You have Oklahoma versus Ohio State. So it all depends a lot of times on television and TV time and what games make sense. And also, you have to remember, Houston is in the American Conference, which compared to the other, like I said, Power 5 conferences, the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, they're not going to get as much coverage. Houston is starting to get noticed a lot more, obviously, because now they're in the top 10, and maybe they're going to move up or move down. We'll have to wait and see about the rest of the games. But it's just going to take time, and so sometimes they're just organized that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I know that you've got some more that you want to talk about, but I want to mention the Penn State thing real quick.
Sure.
Because the Penn State was they're going to honor Joe Paterno this weekend, and there's obviously a lot of controversy about that. So where do you fall in?
Well, this is kind of like a touchy subject, to be honest with you. In my opinion about it, it's too early. It's too early. It's too soon from all the stuff that went down at Penn State. I think they need to wait a few more years before they even consider doing that, because obviously we know Joe Paterno was a great coach. Many, many people loved him. But he left on very bad terms with, he knew all this stuff was going on, and he didn't do anything about it, and that infuriated a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be a lot of Penn State fans that will be excited, but I know for sure there's definitely going to be a lot of fans, maybe even more, that are not agreeing with this. And I've seen from several sources, they don't seem very happy about this.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm going to kind of just skirt around it right now because I look. It's just such a touchy subject, and it's, like, I don't understand why you would even approach it right now, right? Like, kind of just let this settle down a little bit more and go with, but I understand it's the anniversary of his first win and all that. I don't know. Let's move on, Neil. Let's plow right through it.
Got it.
So what else on your list?
Well, what else I got is we got a little bit of baseball action, and it has nothing to do with Major League Baseball. It actually has to do with some minor league baseball. The Lakewood Blue Claws tonight are in their Game 4 of their championship series against the Rome Braves, which is the Atlanta Braves affiliate, and the Lakewood Blue Claws are the Philadelphia Phillies affiliate.
Right.
And right now they're down 2-1 against the Rome Braves, and they have their Game 4 tonight at 7:05 at First Energy Bank Ballpark, and so. I really have been interested in the last couple of years watching minor league baseball, because what's good about it is that you get to see these young guys coming up that eventually get called up. A lot of the top guys in the Phillies that unfortunately are no longer with the team, but in their prime, especially in that year they won the World Series in 2008, are there. Guys like Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard, and a few other guys, that just developed into it. So I'm announcing this because it's a very popular thing to go see. And I would definitely recommend to a lot of people to go watch them, because they're a fun team to watch.
Oh yeah, if you've never been to a minor league baseball game, it is definitely something to go do. It's such a great experience. You're so close to the game and the players in the field, and the Phillies minor league system right now is really got some very good prospects in it. And it's interesting because Lakewood is the only minor league affiliate for the Phillies that's still playing. Reading Reading had a huge season. They were the best team in the league by far, and they got bounced in the playoffs kind of very unceremoniously.
I was very surprised by that because obviously I watch a lot of Trent Thunder games, and I was looking at the standings and the statistics, and I said, geez, Reading's just blowing the doors off people. I bet it looks like they're going to go off and win the whole thing, and I was shocked that they got knocked out so easily.
Yeah, it was crazy because they had like 6 starters on the All-Star team. 6 out of the 9 guys were Reading players in the All-Star team, and you're right, they got bounced out pretty quick. Yep. Hey, Neil, how disappointed are you going to be when the Mets get knocked out and they don't make the wild card?
I wouldn't necessarily be disappointed. I wouldn't even be that upset. But I know a lot of Mets fans that will be frustrated about, and they'll start talking about, here we go again, the Mets lost their magic. But I actually think they're going to make the playoffs. They've been playing really well recently. They've been on a hot tear, and I think that they will make the wild card spot. But to answer your question, no, I don't think I would be that upset about it.
Well, it's just I was looking at the standings last night, and those teams, the Cardinals, the Giants, the Dodgers, right? They're fighting. The Giants and the Dodgers are fighting for that division, but the way that wild card is, all those teams are all within a half a game. I didn't check it this morning, but they were all really close. And you're looking at it, and you're like, oh man, the Mets have been like positioning themselves to be one of the better teams for the last few years, and they just can't get over the hump, Neil.
Yeah, it's true. That you could say the same thing for a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates, who the last couple of years in a row have made that one-game playoff and got knocked out. And it's been frustrating for Pirates fans because I know they want to see the Pirates go further, and they look like they can. So the same thing for the Mets fans. You're coming off last year where they went to the World Series. And if it wasn't for a few little mistakes, they might have actually won that World Series because they were on such a roll. It was unbelievable. So obviously, as a Mets fan, there is a little bit of panic, but I wouldn't necessarily panic too much because you don't know what's going to happen. Right. Like you said, the wild card race is very tight with the Cardinals, the Giants, the Dodgers, all these guys trying to fight for those last 2 playoff spots. So as we get closer to the end of September and into the first week of October, when the season comes to an end, we're going to have to wait and see how this race comes down.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You know, this is a great time of year. We got football, we've got baseball playoffs coming up, and you know, looking further down the line, we got basketball and hockey starting up. I think this is my favorite time of year. I can't wait for it.
It's exciting. It's definitely exciting.
That's great. He is Neil Villapiano. He is a host of the MVP show here on the Radio Vision Network on Saturdays. Make sure you check him out. Neil, thanks for spending a few minutes with me this morning.
No problem. Happy to help.
Awesome. Thanks, man. So we got to take a quick break here on Morning Coffee, but stick around. I might just have something super sweet for you coming up here on the Radio Vision Network. We'll be right back.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your food go beyond? Learn more at purinabeyond.com.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts.